All right, welcome to Wrestling with Fate. Today we're with Mr. Devin Diamond and RJ Daniels. We're going to be doing the WrestleMania 36 recap, then morning after.
Part one.
No jokes there, Bryan, Devin. Now there I am doing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to just start over right at the beginning here because you just stop it.
Raw, uncut. That's what we do here. All right, so the first match that we had a match on the pre-show. We had Drew Gulak versus Cesaro. I know we didn't talk about that yesterday. I would have put Cesaro over on that match. What do you guys think about that?
I got no comment. I don't know. So.
Like you guys completely no-sold my pretending that my mic was off, but that's okay. So, obviously, Cesaro is always reliable. I mean, it's kind of weird, for that to be. I mean, did they really need a pre-show?
Yeah.
I kind of think everybody's kind of there that they know. You kind of already. I don't think you really.
The pre-show looked like every other match.
Yeah, I mean, it was solid.
Solid. Okay. Yeah, Cesaro did go over on that one, so no surprises there. We did open up with, are they referring to themselves as Twisted Bliss? Or is that just her?
That's the name I've heard, but, it's kind of like the unofficial nickname, like Team Hell No. They're officially Kane and Daniel Bryan, but,
Okay, so Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross versus the Kabuki Warriors. Before we say who won that one, what do you guys think about the match? I've rated all my matches on a 1 to 5 star, and me personally, I thought it was actually pretty good. I thought it was a good way to start it out, and I actually gave it. Maybe I'm a little biased here, but I gave it a 4 star.
I think that's fair. It looked from for an opening match, it seemed pretty good. There were a couple sloppy spots, but other than that, I mean. It was a pretty solid opener. It's just so weird too that they're doing the pirate theme this year too, and there was no Io Shirai. I always mispronounce it. That's like her whole gimmick was the pirate thing. So it's just so weird that she's not on the show anymore. On this show, But I don't know. I think it's so disconcerting too because it feels like it's a dress rehearsal for WrestleMania. Like we're not supposed to be seeing this, like they're practicing for it. So, but it was good. I mean, like I said, I thought Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross were gonna win the match, and they did. So good for them.
Yeah, and I think if I remember correctly, Dan, you had Kabuki Warriors on this one because you didn't think that the title was going to change hands.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised either way, to be honest. Like I just kind of thought they were going to maybe take a holding pattern on a lot of this stuff and just wait and see afterwards. But I can definitely see why they moved the belts, because if you're going to do it right at the beginning of the show to make the show seem like it's going to have consequences and be impactful. And probably the way they should have started it. So I mean, it
wasn't a real drastic thing to do.
No,
just moving the belts. So
yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that pretty much covers that one. So match 2, we did see Elias versus King Corbin. I know for me, I got this one wrong. I thought Corbin definitely was going to go over Elias, but, in retrospect, I can see that, the week prior, Elias, Corbin did get over on Elias, so I don't know. What did you guys think of the match?
I think if they ever make a movie about Elias's career, he's going to have to be played by Bradley Cooper.
Okay.
No, it's so, like, he's so... Seeing him wrestle is so weird though too, like because he's always doing the in-ring. He was always doing the in-ring segments and stuff with the guitar, and it's so weird that they gave that kind of like non-physical role to Elias when he's just so like jacked. Like you'd think they would have brought him. It was a weird thing for him to bring him in on. Like I thought he'd be kind of brought in like a Braun Strowman role where he's a really big jacked guy, like a mercenary or something, and.
He was probably sitting backstage one day playing the guitar, and Vince was like, "I like it. That's your gimmick.
Look at those man chests. Look at those pecs.
You can tear that guitar in half."
I can't remember who had. Did anybody pick Elias winning that match?
I think we all said Corbin because
holding pad.
Wouldn't make sense,
but it was a quick roll up holding the tights by Elias, so it was kind of not like a killing anybody's momentum. So, but
yeah,
well, the way they did it with the ref stoppage right before, where she like didn't count 3, and then he immediately rolled up, and then he cheated. It was like payback, so it wouldn't weaken him in any way, I guess, if you want to say it. So,
yeah, that is true. I only gave that one 2.5 stars. I don't know how you guys rated that one.
Okay.
I'll have to for the next part reassess how I'm just kind of like, is it good or bad? So
yeah,
it was a solid 3 stars, I would say. Just off the top of my head. Nothing special, nothing.
Yeah, it just was kind of middle of the road for me. So
yeah, they're solid matches. Like, I can't really say, because I think the whole thing of like not having the crowd there and stuff just changes the perception of all of it. If you put a crowd in there and the proper reactions that they're playing for as they're doing the matches and stuff like that, I think frankly the whole night was solid matches, is more or less. But not having that crowd reaction and stuff like that, I think you have to it's hard to look past that. So I can't really say, because all my ratings would probably be 1 star lower than they normally would be, because you just didn't have that.
The crowd is
bring
very
you
important.
into it. Yeah.
So. All right. Well, that brings us to match number 3. We have Becky Lynch and Shayna Baszler. Who wants to take the reins on this one?
Well, I'm actually above you on my.
You are. All right, well, anyone else?
No, I don't know. It just, again, solid match. Didn't really have a lot of wow factor. Again, I think it was just because not having the crowd reactions and stuff like there. I don't know. I could have seen that going either way. I think that maybe they held off with Baszler because they didn't, not having the crowd and stuff like there. I think maybe they're waiting to carry that feud forward and just said, hey, let's just keep it on Becky and see what happens going forward. So.
Yeah, I know. Yesterday I said I could see this as being one of one of the top shows or one of the top matches of the night, and I was completely wrong. For me, I gave it a 2 star. I was completely unimpressed with it. I thought the finish, they just did, kind of that whatever cheap finish in the match prior. So it really didn't do anything. Maybe they're saving it for something further down the road. But for me,
that was a finish where they're not committed to somebody. And that's the other thing too. They did 2 kind of like roll up finishes in a row, and that kind of, it's just. There's a difference between keeping somebody strong and not wanting to. If you're not ready to pull the trigger on Baszler, why is she in that spot?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I know somebody needs to challenge Becky for the title, but I really feel that if this is gonna really kill Shayna's momentum. She'll probably have another match with Becky because she didn't lose officially, but where do you go from this? She kind of has to win now, otherwise she's gonna flounder.
Yeah, you had her go over in the Royal Rumble. You had her take out everybody in the Elimination Chamber, and then this is the performance that you get at WrestleMania. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think after this, you get a reboot button on basically everybody. Once they start going to do live events again, and they're just the ball's gonna keep rolling. If they end up having to take a 2-month hiatus or something like that, everybody's momentum is killed at that point, it doesn't matter. So.
Or they, just a little off topic, but I was thinking about that today too. Is they should just tape 3 months worth of shows, and let the wrestlers have, the time off in between, and just air them. Keep the stories
right
going.
Now they don't have any material past.
They don't need to keep bringing people out, to do this. Just do it all in a day or 2, and then let people go home and be with their families for a while. It's spoilers will probably get out, but whatever.
Yeah,
sorry about a little off topic rant there.
So I think they had to get through WrestleMania first. Maybe they can do that from this point forward.
True.
So.
And that was one thing, just real quick to interject. I was really surprised how low on the card this was. It didn't Becky was the main eventer last. It's a main event belt, but it's just kind of weird how lower. What's that?
I know why, because they put it in the middle, because it wasn't a great match. It wasn't a fantastic match. So
that's true.
That's right, because they taped it. You can put it wherever you want. So.
Yeah, I've done that with previous events where I was like, "Ooh, that wasn't a great match."
Move
that one in the middle.
Yeah. No, good point. Yeah, and actually, Becky set a precedent. She's the first women's champion to win the belt at the last event and also successfully defend it at the next one, like
WrestleMania event. Yeah. Okay.
So, not it's a big deal, but
we got you.
Important.
All right, so then we brings us to match number 4 here. We got Daniel Bryan with Sami Zayn. I thought that was kind of a cool match. It was just kind of okay. I did like the end. I thought that Daniel Bryan, when he slapped the just Jesus out of Sami Zayn, I was like, oh my gosh. The little finish with that modified Aluma kick. Okay, but
Yeah,
nothing shocking here for me.
I think I called that one too. Like if they weren't going to move the belt so early, I think. It was good. I liked it. It was Daniel Bryan's always reliable for a good match, and I got to reiterate, I hate that new Intercontinental title. I hate the look of that thing. They really should have kept the white one, but I know they're going a different direction. So
Yeah, I gave that one about a 3-star, just kind of middle of the road. Nothing that I'm probably going to remember. Next year. Oh yeah, they did go. They did have a match. It's not going to be.
And I think they went completely different on that because the fact that they knew there wasn't going to be the crowd to cover for a lot of what they were bantering back and forth the entire match, so they almost dramatized the match like a CW show practically because they knew that the cameras were going to be picking up all their audio, so they added that banter back and forth. Whereas if you would have had a 80,000 person crowd, it would have been more of a straight up fight because they wouldn't have had the audio to be able to pick up what they were yelling back and forth to each other. So
sure,
I think for what it was good. So.
And Fate, as you know, working, wrestling in front of a very small audience is a lot harder to do because when you're in that ring, you feed off the crowd, and when there's nobody there, you have to be more quiet, with calling stuff, unless you're, talking trash to each other. But you got to give these guys credit too for, doing that without any kind of response from anything is definitely got to be jarring for them to do. So
yeah,
and I do want to point one thing out on what he said there is that I do believe there were a couple matches that they edited because there were a couple times that they went to replays and they were full screen replays, and they came back and the match didn't look where they were at the same point. So when they did the picture-in-picture replays, that was the match continuous. But when they went to a replay, I forgot what it was, but one of the matches had a full screen replay of it was not even a great move, and I think they put that in to cover for an edit.
Yeah, that would make sense.
So
okay,
yeah, play around with it a lot more when they can play around with it a lot more when it's not live. So
yeah, all right. This one right here, I think was an awesome match. The next one, 5th match on the card, Morrison, Kofi, and was that Jimmy or Jey Uso?
Jimmy.
Okay, and Jimmy Uso in a ladder match for the tag titles. Overall, I thought that was a pretty decent match. I think they definitely left it all out in the ring. The ending was, it was
unique.
Different. Yeah, it was different. So I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I did call Morrison retaining it. I can't remember what you guys picked.
I think we kind of all said that.
Yeah, I think we all agreed it was going to be a singles match when we were talking about it. I think I said they should have taken out the ladder match, but
yeah,
you guys did see the awkwardness of that though. They kept it going, but you could tell where the big spots were, where they all would have been down for 30 seconds, and that never happened.
Yeah.
But they missed a golden opportunity here. They could have, because when I saw both the tag belts hanging up at the top, and when Morrison fell off at the end, I thought he came down with one of the belts. I thought that too. Yeah, they could have had Morrison came down, there were 2 belts up there, and the other 2 guys that were up there, so you would have had Jimmy Uso and Kofi Kingston as the tag champs or something like that, because they each had a belt. You could have done something. They missed a golden opportunity to mix it up.
Sure. Yeah, that would have been different.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, I mean, I think if this wasn't a typical, if this was a typical WrestleMania, I think maybe that we would have saw that with, but kind of need the fans and you need more stability to run an angle like that. You can't do that, especially if they might take some time off here.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah, but overall, I gave it a 4-star. I was entertained. I know I was watching with my son and stepson. We were all fairly entertained and glued to the TV on that match. So I think we gave it a 4-star over here. So
just you saying that means they did their job. So, you know, it's having been in the ring myself, you know, you kind of wonder if it was worth it physically to do that without any crowd there. But, you know, it was good. I mean, these guys know what they're doing, you know, and they don't do it every day. So it's not CZW or something. So, you know, it was good, but it was safe. So I liked it. It was good.
Well, we're going to move on over to the 6th match of the night, and that was Owens versus the Monday Night Messiah, Seth Rollins. Who wants to take this one away?
Well, I'll jump in on this one because I noticed something that I think a lot of people may not have noticed, and I actually went back after the match was over just to double check if I was if I was right or wrong on this. But they added sound effects to that match, and I noticed it in the chair shots, and then when he grabbed the bell. Now it was a solid match, and being able to hear them banter back and forth. Same thing with like Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan. You know, they made the match better being able to do that, but. Sure. They did a good job of editing it in, but I got completely taken out of the match when I forgot who it was. Rollins grabbed the bell and hit Kevin Owens with the wood side of it, and it was a full ding.
Yeah.
And I think that happened 3 times. But you go back and you watch the chair shots that he gave him. He gave him that chair shot to the front on the ground, and he like had one arm up to cover it, and it literally sounded like that chair was hit against a concrete pole or something like that. It's dead serious, you know what I mean? And I was at that point, like I was like, I know why they did it because it's WWE and that's to be expected, but it was just that completely took me out of the match from that point. But other than that, you know.
Well, technically it was 2 matches because they had to restart it. So
yeah. Well, and I know that you sent me that message, and I was not quite as far into WrestleMania as you were, and then when that match came about, I did notice it, but otherwise, I probably would
have. And most people do.
The sound effects.
I was just like, somebody gets hit in the front with a chair, it doesn't sound that loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just edited in the sound effect when Jeff Hardy clobbered Lesnar with the chair that one time in his head, and it sounded like he killed him with it. Yeah. Put that in there. And it took me out of it when I heard a Wilhelm scream in there, so. Yeah.
So what did you guys think of the DQ and then restarting the match? That work for you guys?
Should have been no DQ to begin with if they're going to do that. Just my opinion. But
they only did that so that they could have Rollins win the match, but then like let his ego get the better of him so that they could put Owens over. But there's always that little asterisk over there where they both.
Well, Owens won the first one too, though, because Seth got DQ'd.
Yeah. Well, he outsmart. You know what I mean? He did the.
Oh, okay.
You know, he wasn't beaten. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, I thought the match really started to shine after they restarted the match. Mm-hmm. That ending elbow drop that he did off the sign, I was like, oh my gosh.
Did you notice how thick the padding was on the announce table too for that?
I did see that, but I honestly do think Seth got the wind knocked out of him. Either that or he is just one heck of a seller because.
Both.
Moans and groans. I'm like, oh my God, he looks.
They could have added those grunts in after the fact too, because of how many sound effects they put in that match.
They could have, but I thought it worked well. And I think the first part of the match was maybe like a 3-star for us over here, and then after they restarted it, that was pretty good. The ending, so we gave it a 4-star.
Sure. That's a very, very fair assessment. And just kind of like, not to sound like too much of an insider, but you guys remember that the 24/7 where Owens had the match with Jericho and Vince was like, oh, I didn't like it, and it, like, you could tell that was really bothering Owens. I think he's kind of had that shadow over his shoulder for the last couple of years. And I think this might have helped justify, or write it in his mind, hopefully, that, when something happens, when your boss tells you they didn't like something, you question yourself. Like that's got to be like, that had to have been just constantly in his mind bothering him. So hopefully this was a kind of something to help ease that, where it's like, he had his WrestleMania moment now and stuff like that,
And I think you guys both had Seth Rollins on this one. Am I correct?
Yeah, I was surprised with that. I liked the result, but I was kind of surprised they did that. So
Okay. So we'll move on
truth be
to.
told, I barely remember who I called on most of these.
I got to write it down. I got to remember that.
I know. I didn't either. So I was kind of just
now we're going to go on to the two worst matches of the night in my mind.
Great enders.
Wow.
Yeah, well, there's three left, and can you count?
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Can you count R-Truth losing the belt, which off of what it was at a forearm to the chest that kept them down for not only Gronk getting a 2 count, but
did I blink
Mojo getting
somewhere
a
in
3?
this because I never saw this?
I don't remember this. Yeah.
Really?
But I got home late from work, so I was kind of fast forwarding through stuff. Maybe I missed it.
Yeah, it was all of about 30 seconds.
That's probably why.
R-Truth being R-Truth.
I saw Gronk, and I'm like, oh, fast forward.
Yeah. R-Truth being R-Truth, and like, hey, you got to hide me, blah, 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 blah. Gronk hits him with an elbow to the chest. And now he's down on the ground and takes a 2 count from Gronk, and then Mojo pulls him off and then gets a 3 count on him.
Oh, so he went like this to him? He didn't like...
No, he did more of a this right to his chest, and he just fell to the ground, and that was... He just laid there while they...
In fairness, RJ can attest that an elbow to the chest can put you on the ground for a while.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday.
Yeah, I think they're just setting up something for maybe tonight.
I saw your blink of hatred when I said that. Like,
No. Talked about it yesterday. So.
I know.
No, everything happens for a reason, though. So
yeah.
So.
All right. Well,
I'm sorry I missed that, but sounded like hot garbage.
Yeah, yeah I shouldn't even give it a 1 star, to be quite honest. So
I don't think those 24/7 matches don't count. I mean, it's
some of them can be fairly entertaining. That used to be back in the day. Some of my favorite stuff when they had parkour belt. But,
yes,
and some of the stuff they've done here. Yeah, some of the stuff they've done here with R-Truth popping out of the trunk and the referee drives up on YouTube channels and stuff and gets a surprise win and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But those aren't really matches, but I know what you're saying.
They just have a ref.
Yeah.
All right.
They went to a Foot Locker somewhere and, rolled the guy up. So
I don't think any of us had little high hopes for this. Just right on over it. I don't think anybody had any high hopes for the Strowman Goldberg match. I think that was kind of hard to watch, and
about 30 seconds into it, I thought I called it, and then
yeah,
it was exactly what I expected it to be, but the finish was different.
Yeah,
and that's good. I'm happy for that. I'm glad Braun got his moment now, and got that title win. So sorry to spoil it there. So I
was pretty confident that Strowman was going to win, but halfway through there, I was like, halfway through the 3-minute match, what is it, 4 minutes? Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh my god, are they really going to do this? Just spear. Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's like watching.
When he went for oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, when he went for the jackhammer, it was like, called it! And then he, slammed him, and I'm like, oh!
Call it.
Remember, I said it was going to, if Goldberg was going to win, it was going to be spear, jackhammer, and done, or he was never going to be able to win because he wouldn't be able to get him up later in the match. And they probably said, well, if you can't jackhammer him, I kind of doubt, I'm sure he's a very strong guy, but at his age and everything like that, he's not. I don't think he'd be capable of even jackhammering him now, unless I missed it.
And that's the thing. That's where that crowd comes into it, where you've got your adrenaline pumping. Mm-hmm. Where he probably would have if there was a full crowd there. You know what I mean? Because you've been in front of a crowd. It's like you get that extra oomph. And I mean, the match was pretty much how I would play a WWE 2K match.
Yeah,
you just spam your finishers, and hit them with a cheap shot.
To point what you said there, Devin, too, is no, I totally understand that because when we were doing our very early SSW stuff, I was in a tag match, and I use that term very lightly for myself, but I rolled my ankle in the middle of the ring, and we finished the match for 15 minutes after that, and my ankle had swelled up like that the next night. But if I would have done that walking down the street, I would have been Peter Griffin on the sidewalk, I mean, but when you have that momentum going, you don't,
if you look at the video, his leg bone was straight down on the ground, and his ankle was off to the side. It was gross. But also, I was wrong because I thought they were going to keep it on Goldberg. I did forget that I had mentioned that I know Hogan's been rumbling about coming back for a match. And I said Braun Strowman would be his perfect opponent. because that's exactly who Hogan would want to work, and that's how he would work.
Is he going to be able to body slam him though?
Probably. I got a 5 spot here that sometime in the next 6 months it's going to be Hogan versus Strowman for that belt. Call it.
I think so.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll cringe in your rate.
Presuming that everything with this beer flu, goes away at some point, but that would be my guess. Give Hogan one last hurrah. So.
All right. Well, this match, I was
Can't be worse than Goldberg.
With Joe Exotic in his corner.
We're gonna go on to something that I think might take up a little time here. I don't know, because the main event, Undertaker versus AJ Styles. Man, I think it lived up to the hype and some. I saw some of the posts and the feedback on it, and everybody's commenting on it. I know me and the two boys here were watching it, looking at each other like, well, what is this? I think it's going to be a match that, as a little kid, they're going to probably remember, kind of like we remember, Macho Man and.
Clearly, you can't remember it because you can't remember the name.
Oh, I'm on the spot here, so
Macho Man, Ultimate Warrior. That match was pretty famous, if I remember.
I feel like I accidentally switched channels over to the CW and had Supernatural.
I was actually thinking, Macho Man, Ricky Steamboat, or Andre and Hogan. How we remember that. I think this might be something that the younger fans will definitely remember.
Well, if this qualifies as a WWE wrestling match, then I think that epic fight between Roddy Piper and I can't think of his name.
Goldust?
No, from They Live, where they were fighting in the alley for 15 minutes.
That's right.
That should get canonized in the WWE.
There you go. Right.
Well, I don't know
what I'm talking about, Pete?
I vaguely remember that, so something maybe I'll have to look into.
Keith David, right? Is it Keith David?
Yeah.
Yeah. They had probably they had a side note, whatever. So
well, let's just get to the start of it. The start of it, they show the hearse backing up. They have the coffin, and then opens up, and then there's AJ Styles. I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of a cool entrance. And you have the Undertaker with the American,
Can I just say real quick that I knew that Undertaker wasn't in that hearse, because when they went to the back door and they had all the painted over rust, I'm like, oh, that's not. I knew that wasn't going to be him.
Nice.
Yeah. So I mean, I could probably go on about this match, but what are your guys' takes on it? What are some of the things you liked, and some of the things you guys didn't really necessarily?
It was something different, It was like watching a movie, which was, it kind of cool, but at some parts, kind of like with the fireballs and stuff, it's like, all right, but it was kind of, it was kind of cool seeing the Biker Taker again. And I mean, this WrestleMania's got to go down in history as the most, I mean, we're only halfway through it, with the most people dressed in street clothes wrestling this year. But no, it was good.
Rush back onto their flights when they're done. So.
Yeah, right.
Made it quicker.
Yeah, they weren't social distancing enough though in the match. So, but I mean, we just caught murder on camera too. I mean, there's videographic evidence now of it. So Undertaker's on the run, I would presume. And
well, anybody that gets buried under a small tractor load of dirt.
Yeah, I just like that AJ Styles' hand is just kind of stuck there, just outside the dirt.
You must have the longest arm in history.
So yeah, that little tractor of dirt there would barely give him a dusting on top, let alone completely bury his entire body. So his hand's sticking up like that. I mean, it was just that's kind of right. They should have like a big bulldozer there with like a mound of dirt. And since they were editing in it, post production anyways, they could have just like slid the whole thing and covered it, and you could have like rolled the bulldozer right over the top of it or something, So, but I did notice at the beginning they had that tombstone covered, and I'm like, I bet AJ Styles' name is on that thing, because it was all covered in the vines and the weeds and stuff like that. And he pulled it across, and it looked like somebody had just like taken like a stamper and whipped.
Undertaker sitting there chiseling a name,
Yeah.
Okay.
Did
you guys notice the punching sounds they added into the match too, every now and then?
Yes, it was. I just want to add on to that too, though. Like they literally went to like B- level like horror movie route. It wasn't bad because it gave something different to the show, but at the same point in time, it was like I felt like I was watching like one of those like, you know, VHS rentals that came out back in the day at Blockbuster. That'd be like next to the horror movie that came out, but it had like the ridiculous name, and then you watch it. But I think one thing that they did miss out on, though, when not to skip ahead on the match or anything like that. Did you want to go over the match? I don't want to spoil the end.
Well, just kind of, whatever.
Okay. Well, the thing that I noticed at the end, where like Undertaker goes, he goes, I'm not going to bury you," and he like said that to AJ how many times? Like he should have gone, "She is." And like, Michelle McCool should have been on the tractor. I thought that's what they were going to go.
Oh, that would have been pretty cool.
Yeah, that would have been good. Or Michelle McCool turns on Undertaker and leaves with AJ Styles.
Now we're going to see that tomorrow.
Oh man,
different people.
Okay. The one piece I did like when AJ Styles had him beat down, and before he hit him with the shovel across the back. You kind of had like a little flash to Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels where he's just kind of sitting there and Undertaker just looks completely done, and then he flips him the bird. And I just felt right there, I'm like, oh, is that like a little throwback to the, that's kind of what Shawn Michaels did when he, fought the Undertaker, and it's like, hey, just, so I don't know. I thought that was kind of a little, homage to that. I don't know if you guys saw that and felt the same way.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that was, it was, for being a gimmick match, it was really probably the best they could have done with it.
Yeah.
And, they took the situation with there being no crowd, and they like, all right, let's do something fun with this,
I fully expect Cena and Wyatt is going to be the same thing. So
yeah, it looks like they had a lot of fun doing this match. So I would like to see something on maybe the production of it. How they do all the on the network. I think that'd be pretty cool, and I'd love to see maybe like that Inner of Three come back with maybe Undertaker and AJ or just the two.
Chronicle the Boneyard match.
Yeah, just them talking.
They're eating like soup and talking about it,
or something where they're sitting there talking about the match and kind of going over it and talking about their experience with it, because I think it looked like they both had a lot of fun with it. So
yeah.
Question for you. Do you guys think Undertaker really cut his arm open on the car, or was that just?
No, because the way they are, like, especially with them filming like a movie, if they would have seen that, they would have, sealed it up or whatever,
Well, I'm not saying that they didn't in between takes, but when he wailed through that the window of that hearse, I mean, he buried his arm in that, and I mean, that was still
that's that sugar glass. But
they didn't do anything. Like I thought maybe he was going to use the blood in some way, but the fact that they did nothing with it after the fact, I'm thinking that maybe he did cut his arm and they just like gelled it up real quick so he wouldn't bleed throughout the rest of the filming.
Yeah, because they really didn't put a lot of focus on the gash or the blood throughout the rest of the match. So
he didn't break through the window like Goldberg did back in the day. So
no, it was close though. It wasn't like when he smashed through it. I mean, he put some oomph into it. So
yeah.
So for me personally, I feel like this match is going to be hard to top tonight. I mean, I know they have a couple opportunities on doing so. So I'm interested to see how we feel about things tomorrow. If this is the match of WrestleMania or not,
yeah, definitely.
It's a hard one to top.
Yeah, I mean, I think this really was kind of some of the weaker matches of the show on this card. So I guess tonight we'll see what the supposed to be, better ones are going to be tonight. So
I would have been upset if I would have paid $39.99 for night one.
Ooh, yeah. Well, I mean, it was good. It was better than it looked on paper, and that's for WWE. That's kind of hard to say right now.
The two best parts of the show was the opening 10-minute promo package that they did, and then the Undertaker versus AJ Styles. So they could compress that down into 45 minutes and just make WrestleMania if you had this year. So.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say unanimously Undertaker AJ stole the show tonight. So
yeah,
which is weird. Undertaker, he's kind of he is on his way down in his career, and he's had some pretty weak performances in recent years. I mean, it's good that he kind of got a little bit of justification that he can still have a good match. Obviously, working AJ helps, but
Well, I think this does the world for AJ Styles. I think this is like his new resurgence here. I don't know if
Oh,
if that doesn't propel him back to the main event scene. I don't know. Well,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too. It was nice about the match, just to go back to the match real quick, that they were able to use padding and stuff like that. So they're, like when he did the tombstone on top of the building,
Mhm.
I mean, you could tell he was coming down on a padded surface, which is good because, I mean, these guys are constantly hurting themselves for our entertainment, and it was kind of nice to be entertained and see that they're actually able to be safe doing it, which was nice. But yeah, sorry.
Well, here's two questions that I'll pose to you guys from this. Then, first up, you think this was like Undertaker's like farm, or whatever on his ranch? Was this like just a building that he had on his property that they went and shot at?
It's possible. It looked like a set, though. It was kind of weird. Like it did almost look like a set, but at the same point in time, it didn't. It was
The gates at the beginning, you could see
Yeah.
that they were just set there. So like whatever that area was, like I mean,
it could be. I mean, he lives in Houston, I think, so
Yeah.
it could be. He has a farm, or they just
it's
rented it from somebody.
stable.
Maybe one of his neighbors has that.
And then the second question is, do you think the whole entire WrestleMania would have been better served doing all the matches like cinematic style, like Ready to Rumble, and just do all the matches filmed the same way, where it's all, instead of making it look like it's live in front of an audience, imagine they just done all the matches that style, where it was cinematic style. And then
I don't know. I think that would have lost. It would have definitely taken away from the Undertaker AJ match. So
Yeah.
I like it. I think they should do it in the future, but again, sparingly, and not think, hey, this is like the new thing to do.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do this too frequently. So, but kind of makes me want to see we had The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke, but I want to see like a movie that's like about wrestling, that's actually decent.
We got the main event coming out on Netflix apparently.
But seeing like a match in a theatrical aspect would be kind of
that's what I was like. Remember Ready to Rumble?
Yeah.
They haven't done it since.
Yeah, I mean The Wrestler, but that was more, there was some in-ring stuff, but that was more about,
Yeah.
that was a depressing movie. So something that's a little more fun, I guess.
All right. Well, I think we're
the first WrestleMania in a long time to not have Triple H on it, which was, they didn't even think to
Well,
mention
there's always tonight yet. So
yeah,
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, like wrestling though.
24/7 champ right there.
Hey, why not? So.
All right. Well, I want to keep this video a little bit shorter. I know yesterday's video was a little bit longer. So if you guys watched yesterday's video, good job if you made it through.
Hey, you can't cap creativity.
That's true.
right.
That's true. So this is our WrestleMania 36 Day 1 recap. We will be shooting another video tomorrow to go over Day 2. Thank you, Devin. Thank you, RJ, for sitting down with me and kind of talking about WrestleMania and giving your thoughts and opinions. Until next time, hit that like, hit that subscribe, share. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.